Eve, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. How are you?
Yeah, Thanksgiving Eve is now an official holiday in New York. The governor,
Really?
yeah, the governor created it. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and in celebration of Thanksgiving, we have a nice new background here. So I hope you guys
Oh,
are
wait.
digging the background.
I'm not seeing the background. Wait. Don't get rid of it.
Hold on. I don't know if you'll see it on mobile because it basically just shrinks our images a little bit.
No,
But
no. I actually see it.
you see it? All right.
Yeah,
I've never used one, but oh yeah, look at that.
yeah. That's
Far
pretty cool.
out. So you could
Can you
tell this is
imagine what we can
an
do?
Italian Thanksgiving here because that big clove of garlic down on the bottom
Wow.
reminds me of my grandmother's house.
And that makes it Italian
That makes it Italian.
just
Actually,
because
if
of the
it was
garlic.
really Italian, there would be like 12 cloves of garlic there.
I know.
All right. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So we're going to talk a little shop today, but also we want to talk a lot about gratitude. You can see that right down there in the title there. So gratitude is something that a lot of people are talking about right now, but it's extra important for us because studies have shown that gratitude in kids, if you can foster a sense of gratitude, is one of the earliest indicators of future success, even into adulthood, if kids have a well developed sense of gratitude. So it's not only important for us, but it's important for us to be able to share with our members and the people around us. And that's what we want to talk about today, how we're fostering gratitude, things we are grateful for, perhaps things we should be grateful for, but we're too busy not being, and how to really spread the cheer. Good morning, Victoria. Oh, wow, that comes up with her picture too. Oh, look at that. Cool.
Oh, wow.
Neat. Bells and whistles.
Things have changed.
Yeah, they just did an update a week or two ago. That's why we're having some of those technical difficulties that we like to have.
Mm. Yeah, right. Nice.
So, let's start off with setting the mood. Let's do a little mood induction today. So I know this has been a really stressful year for many, many people.
Many
Um,
people.
and sometimes when you're in the midst of stress and anxiety and trauma, it is hardest to see things you should be grateful for, but that's the most important time to stop and look around. Good morning, Mr. Flynn. He's got stuff to be grateful for today, I know. Um,
Absolutely.
so, Mr. Salama, what's something that you're grateful for out of 2020?
Honestly, aside from everything that most of us would be grateful for in sense of like the family, the relationship that we have, like all that stuff, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I'm absolutely grateful that I've got like a pretty amazing landlord, a pretty amazing company that's managing our studio. Because in all honesty, had it not been where he's willing to work with us during these times, I have no idea where we would have been. And again, I'm gonna say it out loud. A lot of people feel like Skills HQ has got it made, stuff like this. Guys, we're just a school, just like you are. We're owners, just like you are. You know what I mean? Of course, we do have side hustles, and I'm grateful for being able to tap into those side hustles. 2-3 years ago, right? But I'm gonna have to say definitely at this moment, I'm gonna say that our landlord, because our rent is no joke. And when people hear how much we pay for rent, they take this deep swallow, like clunk,
Yeah.
like holy God. Yeah,
Yeah, we have that discussion, up here. There's a lot of discussion about, you should just close your business and, just make more money. And well, yeah, we understand money's out there.
yep,
When you start telling people like how much you actually pay, the average person doesn't deal in numbers the way I think a business owner does.
you're absolutely right.
And in fact, I read an article a while back. I can't remember where, but it said that the human brain struggles to recognize and understand to be able to comprehend numbers over about a dozen or so. So if you show us like a flashcard, we'll be able to give you a rough estimate of, oh, that was like 8 or 9,
Yep.
But if you show me a flashcard of 100, I won't be able to tell if it's 100 or 1,000 because your human brain just can't really grasp that. And that's why, at the beginning of the pandemic, when you started seeing that exponential curve, people just were saying, oh, well, it's only 10 cases. Yeah, but tomorrow it's 100 cases, and the day after it's 1,000 cases, because the human brain just cognitively can't grasp exponential growth. So sometimes, and I see it in our homeowners association, I serve on the board there, and something will come up and they're like, oh my God, it's $1,000. And I'd be like, guys, $1,000 is like nothing in business. It's when you're talking your budget is $1 million a year. I'm not saying throw money around.
Yeah.
$1,000 is not that much. So, when people look at our businesses and you look at a business like Headquarters. So just to give you perspective, John and I pay almost the same amount of rent. I'm in New York. I got a little dinky 3,000 square foot one room school, and John's got this beautiful facility. So sometimes people aren't aware of like where the parity is.
Yep.
And for John to pay as much in Georgia as I am in New York, I might look at that and say, oh, well, I'm paying the same amount. What's the big deal? The cost of living in Georgia is about half of what it is in New York.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, let's just start with the smallest, minutest little thing. Our minimum wage is $7.50.
Yeah, ours is going up to like $15 an hour.
Exactly. So you guys, there is the relationship right there alone. So like, take that, and whatever the number is in your head, go ahead and double it.
Yeah. So imagine instead of, if you're like a smaller school owner or, just starting out, or you're watching as a parent or whatever, imagine your home mortgage and now like put a 0 on the end of that.
Yeah.
And now imagine that your bank was willing to work with you on managing that money. So I would say that, yes, that is a very gratefulness worthy thing that you have a landlord that is working with you, because you're dealing in big numbers, big stress.
Absolutely. And it's not like just a big number. People can live graciously off that number. You know what I mean? I could easily have $1 million, $2 million home down here in Atlanta with that number, if not 2 houses, 3 houses.
And it's funny, like, you can probably have like an 8-car garage and just teach in your garage.
Yes. I like that idea. Let me think through it.
The Salama compound.
There is a lot more other things that we're absolutely grateful for, in terms of the companies that we work for, in terms of the leadership that we have at the moment, all that stuff. But in a sense or another, if I didn't have the landlord, things would have been rolled in a different direction.
Yeah, and I guess that's like your Maslow right there, right?
Yeah.
He helped you take care of your most basic needs so you can focus on moving forward.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we've said about many of our business associates in the past. We love when we can look at them not as just somebody we pay money and get a product or a service from, but somebody that's actually part of our team, that's willing to invest in us and take chances with us. That makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
So I would encourage everybody to look around for those people in your lives, not just as students and members, but your antelopes should also include your business associates and your business partners. Mm-hmm. So, on a similar note, I have to say that I am very grateful for my members, and like normally you would say that because without them I wouldn't be paying anything.
Yep.
But things, especially with the pandemic, they are very polarized, and especially in New York, which is by population a Democratic state, but by land area a Republican state. So it becomes even more polarized, especially here on the suburbs of Long Island. We have very Democratic, liberal-minded people from the city, and the East End tends to have more Republican, conservative-minded people, and they're often clashing. And I have to say that we were very worried about trying to please both sides as we reopened, especially in all of this polarization. And our students really came together in our school in a way that they don't often in other public venues, where our conservative students and members were very vocal about how happy they were that we pushed to reopen as quickly and safely as possible. And our more liberal members were very vocal about saying they're very happy that we did open safely. So they took the two sides of the message and both of them stood up to support us. So I'm very grateful for their voices and the way that every time I post, hey, this is what the Department of Health said, both sides are there supporting us and making sure that we know that they love us. It's very emotionally draining sometimes to run a business. Forget about like the hours you put in and the money you put in and whatever. You can catch a nap and make more money later.
Yep.
But it's very emotionally draining sometimes. And to have your members return that support to you really feels good. So I'm super grateful for that.
Absolutely. I mean, again, a building is just a building, right? A teacher is just a teacher. A preacher is just a preacher. Without the congregation, without the people in it, what's the point? What's the point? So, like, you have to be upfront with your members. You've got to be right there for your members. You've got to be loyal to your members as they're loyal to you, because in return, you're going to get that result. You're going to get that people who are like right there standing right next to you, fighting the battle with you. So, yeah.
We had, I mean, we're not doing as well as we liked, but we're not starving. We had a family in our school the other day, and this family has not much. They're first generation immigrants. I'm not 100% sure what their status is, but they work cash. What your stereotypical immigrant would be. They have very high work ethic, and they're used to taking care of their own.
Mm-hmm.
So when they see everything that's going around with, we fall under gyms and fitness facilities for now. When they see what's going on, this family who has next to nothing and scrapes, the mom goes door to door selling flavored ice in the summer to afford the kids' lessons. I mean, this is how hard they work for their money. They brought us food.
Wow.
Not for our food drive, which we have going on, but they said, no, this is for you because we want to make sure that you're taken care of and that you can eat. And it's like, man, I want to cry. That the people that have nothing are concerned about us. So, it's being surrounded by people who really care, not just people that give me money, because there are far easier ways in this world to make a buck than running a child development center or a martial arts school or a yoga facility. Far easier ways to make a buck. But to have people that really care about us, that's why I do what I do. That's part of my why.
I think for people who look at the longevity of the martial arts training or of how we all started, it wasn't intended to become millionaires. It wasn't intended to, get rich. It is a passion that you're trying to pass on to someone else. It's a passion that you want to
martial arts training
or... Oh, that's loud. I hear myself.
You hear yourself?
Yeah. So, for us, how many times or how many years have we spent in the past where we've taught one or two students making maybe $50, $100 a month, and that was it, until we got to the point that we are today. And I think like a lot of times, some people nowadays may not have experienced that. You know what I mean? Because again, what you and I know today as business owners and what we have gone through back in the late 90s, early 2000s in terms of like running a business is totally different nowadays. Like I remember hitting the pavement. I mean, I remember going business to business. I don't know if you ever did the box, win a
Right.
free month box.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, like it's totally different nowadays. I can do a virtual box nowadays.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we just had somebody approach us. They're like, "Hey, we want to have you, interview you on our international show." And I was like, "All right, cool." And they said, "Oh, by the way, it's pay to play. It's going to be $3,000 for the 4-minute interview." I was like,
Well, it's like nope.
first of all, you're not getting me any business. My demographic is within 15 miles of my school. You're not getting me any business. If anything, I'm providing you an expert opinion. I was like, I'll waive my speaking fee and come on for free. you know?
Yeah,
It's like for $3,000. Imagine what you could do on Facebook nowadays.
no kidding.
That's your free drop the coupon books.
I mean,
Box.
$3,000 in one drop in 1 month. Like if you don't get your ROI from that, I don't know what to tell you.
So Tim brings up something good. So he dropped off some belts at some homes, and you get to see your members' living environments. And that alone makes you realize how much value they see in you. So we had this same experience in our first belt test during the pandemic, where we drove to every single student's house. We went to, at the time, like 150 different homes, spanning something like 400 square miles. I mean, we really drove all over the place. And we went to some really beautiful homes, and some that were steps up from cardboard boxes. And it really makes you aware of how much value they do see. One of the things that I missed from one of my old software platforms, the one about bad weather,
Yes.
one of the only things I miss about that platform was that they used to have a running total of how much a member had paid you from the day they signed up till today. So you'd go into their profile just to update a note, like little Johnny's not going to be in class today because he has a soccer game. And boom, right up top was the running total for this student is $37,000,
Yeah.
$13,890. And it really made you think, like, we often think of students as their value per month, so that I need 3 more students so I could be able to do that. I need 2 more students so I could be able to do that. And you think about it in your value per month. Sometimes we think about it in the value per year. Like when you see everybody say, "Oh, well, I did $27,000 in sales today." Well, that means you sold 13 memberships. Come on, and you're not collecting on that for 12 months. But when you see that number annually, and then some of our students have been with us for, almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine what their value to you is over 20 years. They're just their financial value. Forget about all the higher meta level stuff. What's their contribution to you? So if you look at a family that's been with me for let's just say 10 years, because it's a nice round number, and maybe their average tuition over that 10 years was $150 a month. So $150, that's $1,800 a year. That means they've given me $18,000. That means they bought my last car. That one student bought my car. And then when you see, like Tim says, that, and they live in a cardboard box and they don't have a car. We still have, we are I think now the highest priced around. And we have students who do not have cars in the family. They take Ubers from 20 miles, half an hour away. They take an Uber here and an Uber back. Or they take the public bus system, which on Long Island has to be the worst public transit system in the world. You could travel faster by donkey, and they take the bus from a town that's 15 miles away. And they're buying me a car. So
Imagine that.
Right? It makes me feel really grateful, but it also makes me want to return that somehow. Like, how can I take care of these people even better? For me, it's by giving their kids the tools to move up and out of that and carry the family forward.
Absolutely. Or possibly, make sure that that kid is on your Storm Team program, and depending on your state laws, they're able to come in and work. Make it worthwhile. So if they're gonna take an Uber over and come in, and say they come in and they're able to work for you 3-4 hours a week and you're paying them.
All right, look, if you work for the IRS, put your fingers in your ears for just a minute and say, la, la, la. Look, I have some 12-year-old Storm Team members, and they're not on the books. But if they come in and work an event, I'm taking money out of my pocket. I can't do it for the business legally.
No.
But I'm taking it out of my pocket and throwing that kid $40 because they worked, and I want them to recognize that there is return for their effort.
So if you're an accountant or if you work for the IRS, put your fingers in your ear, because I can tell you how to do it legally, because our accountant is that good. Our accountant always advised us to go and spend about $300 a month on gift cards. Okay, because gift cards is one of the ways where you can just you're giving them out to your members, right? You can say those, you give it out to your members as a sign-on bonus, right? We do after a month of them being with us, we do the customer appreciation thing, and we like to do $5, $10 to mom's and dad's favorite coffee shop. Once you start, it's one of those things that I mentioned during the Escape conference. But yeah, part of that $300, would be $2 or $3 $50 gift cards, and we will give them to the Storm Team members who were consistent coming every single time when they do. And hey, here's $50, and it could be whatever.
And that's nice because you can still write it off somehow.
Yes, exactly.
By the way, side tip for those of you that donate classes and stuff, in most cases, your time and effort are not deductible. So if you go in and donate some classes to the Boy Scouts, and those classes have a value of $500, you can't deduct that.
No.
However, if you give a gift certificate in the value of that $500 for them to redeem, in many cases, you can write that off. Thank you, sir. So just a little side note that gift cards are a nice tool for business owners. There's a lot of creativity around them.
Make sure you have the right accountant in place. That's just amazing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was a big bonus for us when we shifted to this accountant that we have now. He's again, part of our team. I was just having long conversations with him yesterday about how to do certain things.
That's another person I'm absolutely grateful for.
Oh yeah, we would have been totally.
I mean, listen, people get shocked when they heard we used to pay anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 a year in taxes, and that's because we literally had the wrong accountant, and for the life of me, we couldn't figure out what was going on. We found this young lady, and right now, she literally did some major magic and found out where the loopholes were, and now we probably pay on average about $15,000 a year. That's a huge that's a huge gain on our end. So, make sure you have a right accountant, and if you don't, let me know. We can hook you up. By the way, I say that because our accountant is nationwide certified. She's not just Georgia only. Okay, and right now with Zoom, with video conferencing, super easy.
Yeah. So there's kind of a theme that we're starting to see here now. So the things that we're most grateful about were not things generally, right? We bought a new car this year, and I love it. It's a car that I've wanted for a long time, and I really love it. But the only time I thought of it was now when I was thinking of well, what am I not really grateful for, right? Mm-hmm. It's really a thing. The things that we've kind of mentioned so far have been ideas, feelings, people, and most importantly, I think it's important to recognize that they came at least indirectly out of adversity. It's not like we were sitting in our spa, floating around in our indoor pool, and somebody brought us a Mai Tai, and we're like, I'm so happy and grateful for the little umbrellas in the drinks. This came out of, hey, we had some adverse conditions this year. Here's the people that helped us, the people that made us feel good, the people that supported us, or, using Tim's example, the people that reminded us that things aren't so bad, even if it's through their example or how valuable we are to them. So all these things were ideas and feelings or people, and they came out of adversity. And I think that's really important to recognize as we as coaches or instructors or whatever you call yourselves to your students. It's important for us to coach our students and our clients in this as well. So studies have been done that have shown that gratitude is one of the greatest early indicators of future success. So if we know that, if we are in an industry where we are trying to create successful kids, what are some ways that we can coach gratitude in their lives, how to make gratitude part of their lives? Now, obviously, this is going to be very age dependent. I'm not going to have a 3-year-old keep a daily gratitude journal.
No.
And I'm not going to have, the teenager do some of the things that the 3-year-old might. So what are some things, let's look from the kid's perspective first. What are some adverse conditions that maybe the kids are facing right now that we could, to use the old term, strength switch and help them be gratitudinous about it? There's my word that I made up for the day. Gratitudinous.
So a lot of times, like when you ask kids, like, what are you thankful for? Or, what are you grateful for? So to them, it's like, it's going to be the materialistic stuff, right? Because that's the first thing that comes to mind for a child, right? Well, I'm thankful for my mommy and daddy, blah, 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 because if they do say blessings in the house, they're coached for stuff like this, right? Around November timeframe, instead of us asking the question, what are you thankful for? We like to coach their brain to think differently, right? And you guys know that we're all in depth right now with the Pediatric Ninja Specialist course, and my brain really hurts because of all the somewhat of brain studies that we've been working with. So I'd like to ask like specific questions to a child to get that specific answer. All right. So I like to ask things like, okay, this week we're going to talk about your family. What do you love the most that when mommy does, right, you're happy, right? Or what do you enjoy the most that when you're playing with dad, like what do you guys do that you enjoy the most when you're playing together with dad? Like I like to ask those specific questions because I need to train their brain what thankfulness is. I need to train their brain what gratitude is. Otherwise, it's going to be the same old answer, right? So I like to switch it a little bit. I like to utilize that time, and our mat chat tends to be about life skills part for the time being. So, if the mat chat is about kicking or punching or whatever, great. How long does that really take us to talk about? You know what I mean? Like the 3 minutes. Like if I'm spending 3 minutes to talk about kicking, wait a minute. It's like, whoa. So I like to use like 30 seconds about that specific mat chat, but I like to spend about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes talking about how to train the brain and helping them think through the different chemicals, right? Get the chemicals kicking so they're able to answer the questions properly and teach them how to be thankful and how to be grateful.
And that's important. I like two things that I like a lot about it, but I like two things specifically that you mentioned there. One is changing the questions we ask. Sometimes when you ask kids, like, what are you grateful for? Especially nowadays, oh, my Xbox or my what's the new one, the PS5 or whatever that just came out, right? Just changing that question to, who are you thankful for?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Or following it up with, why are you thankful for it? So changing that from just what to who or why. The other thing I like that you mentioned is the fact that we have to teach, what does gratefulness mean? Not just this word, like, what are you thankful for? Mommy and daddy, my Xbox, my dog. But to really teach them what gratitude means. especially with our younger kids where they don't have a lot of the language processing developed yet. It's important for us to define this word in ways that they can understand. So even coaching them through, using mood induction is my thing lately. It was something that we talked about during my part of the PNS course.
Yes.
And it was just like, I really like this, and I just ran with it. So, getting them to think about when's a time where something went wrong or you felt really bad, or even if it's in class or at home or at school, whatever, think about a time when you didn't feel good, and you'll see their body posture starts to change, and, oh man, I didn't feel good because I failed my test, and the head droops. Yes. Good. Now I want you to think about who's the person that helped make it better. Was it the teacher who gave you an extra bit of lesson time? Was it mom who gave you a hug? Was it dad who made your favorite dinner so that you would feel better? And then you see the body change again because like, oh yeah, last time I failed a test, I was so sad and I was scared to tell my dad. But my dad said, hey buddy, it's okay. And then he showed me a better way to do the math. And it made me feel really better. I said, aha, what you're feeling right now is gratitude. So we have to help them define it so that now they can start to look at it. And this is the same as labeling negative emotions. When they're having those tantrums. Hey, buddy, I understand you feel really sad right now because you can't have ice cream for breakfast. However, you're helping them define that. And by creating an intellectual connection, it decreases the emotional impact. Same thing. We're just doing it in reverse. By having a mental connection, we're helping them increase their ability to look for, define it, and recognize it.
You know what? You're talking about this, and I'm going, wait. A lot of this stuff is in a great book, and if you guys haven't read this book yet, I definitely recommend for you to read it, The Whole Brain Child. And the reason behind it is they really explain how the brain works. I had a parent that walked in yesterday. She's got a 21 months old. She scheduled an appointment for her 21 months old to come in and start martial arts training. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry. I think you meant to say you signed your child up to come here and become a better version of themselves. You want your child to be in a child development center, not just a martial arts center, because there's a lot of those out there. And she's like, ooh, you got me there. What do you mean? And I started talking about the brain, right? And how the brain works. So logically speaking, when we're talking to kids, we feel like the kids are going to understand us. And it's just because, a 5-year-old understands what you're saying, right? The question is, do they understand it? Do they comprehend it? Or are they just shaking their head yes, right? The logic side is on the left side of the brain, which is not quite developed yet around the ages when we're talking to the kids, right? It's roughly around 7 to 8 years old. That's when the left side of the brain starts beginning to develop. With that, if you're asking a child, what are you thankful for or what are you grateful for? They're like, they're having a hard time with it, right? Just because that's a logical question. You know what I mean? Now, when you're coaching them into, okay, what do you do? How do you feel when, okay, because the right side of the brain is the feeling and emotions. So when you're asking the questions based on feeling and emotions, make sure that you're putting in there the emotion part of it, right? The feeling part of it, not just thankful. Thankful to them is not a feeling or an emotion. They don't understand it as that because that's a logical concept. I hope that makes sense.
By the way, I'm also thankful for my awesome Skillz tumbler from Mr. Salama. Thank you.
Actually, let's reverse that. It is not from me. It was from Nolan, our vinyl ninja dude. Yep, he is the one that did it for all of us. We just, got the extra special privilege of having our names on there. Thank you, Nolan.
So, with all this in mind, here's going to be an ethical bribe for everybody, and I hesitated to do this because I really hate when people do it. But I'm going to tell you flat out why I'm doing it. I want more engagement on our videos. So flat out, that's why I'm doing it. I have a series that I do every year. It's a short video series. It's 25 ways to teach your child gratitude during the holidays. Because First of all, during the holidays, even though we talk about gratitude, this is like martial artists talking about humility. None of us are humble. And you see the way that we argue and demean everybody in the different martial arts groups, not in the Skillz groups, but in certain other groups, how there's just these arguments about who's right, who's better. We lie. Same thing about gratefulness during the holidays. Oh, it's the time to be grateful. And kids are challenged by this, especially depending on their stage of development. Younger children especially are very egocentric. They are very centered on them. So it's about, what did I get for Christmas? What did you make for me? Where are you taking me to see Christmas lights? So we want to be able to give kids the tools, or give parents the tools, to help kids step aside from that ego. And ego, by the way, is not a bad thing. Too much ego is a bad thing. But to be able to step aside from that and really have a sense of empathy. And I think that empathy is part of what fosters gratitude. So here's what I'm going to do for my ethical bribe. Part of it is because I don't want to spam everybody, and I only want to give it to the people that want it. But a bigger part, to be completely open, is because I'm going to want some engagement on this video. If you put let's see, there's a turkey emoji, right?
Sure.
There's a turkey emoji. If you put a turkey emoji in the comments of this video, I will send you my document that has all 25. Dude, I didn't even tell. If you put a turkey emoji in the comments, you're going to owe me $25. See what happens when you jump?
I'm game. I'm game. I'm game. You have Venmo?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you tell me you have to pay $25 to get it, I'm going to put it out there. I mean,
All right.
there's just certain people, before they speak, you know what's going to happen.
I love you, man. So if you just drop that little turkey down there, I'm going to send you my notes for these videos. Now, in all fairness, these are my notes. These are not prepared scripts. These are not detailed things. It's just 25 ideas, couple of sources or references in there. And I do this speaking from my heart. So every year it's a little bit different, but it's always the same 25 topics. I start it December 1st. I end it Christmas Day. So if you want, just drop the turkey down there. Victoria's going to get it like 27 times here.
I know, I was going to say, she wants to be spammed. Okay.
And I'll send you the Dropbox link.
And on top of that, if you guys want, I've just found a new app that is super dope. And of course, you're going to have to be tech savvy to make it work. With this app, you're able to record yourself, do a video, and it will automatically put the subtitles on top. It's pretty dope. I'm using it right now with our suspect or prospects who opt in, who haven't bought anything yet. And I just simply go, hey guys, John Salama here, and look at this. We're at Atlanta Skillz. Here's a quick video of our studio. And if you have any questions, please let me know. As I'm speaking, I'm doing the video around the studio, and up on top, it is dropping the text. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've realized that you don't ever know who you're messaging, right? You don't know if they can't read, so they can only listen to you. Maybe they can't like quite hear well enough, so all they can do is read it. And trust me, with my accent and all of that, it is perfect. So I'll be sending you.
And you know 70% of people watch video on the toilet with it on mute.
Exactly.
Exactly. That high value content you're putting out, it's on
Yes.
the blooper.
Yeah.
By the way, Tim, I'm going to translate yours to Turkish. Since you, by the way, the bird turkey is named after the country, not the other way around. A little bit of trivia there. It was named by the British, who were reminded of a bird that they saw when they were hunting down in India. By the way, in Turkey, they call India turkey, the bird. What? In Turkey, in Turkish, a turkey, the bird, is a Hindi. So Hindustan is Turkey. And
That's a different.
That's what they call India. Did I lose everybody there? I think I lost everybody. Hold on.
I think so. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me send this to Tim before I lose everybody else.
All right, so I'll be messaging you guys with that app as well. It's a pretty cool app.
Hey, there we go. All right. Can you guys see me right now? Can I see you? I could see your comment, but my binoculars are at home, so
yeah. Yeah, I can see your comment.
Yeah, we can see your comment. All right. So yeah, what I recommend with this document is to go through it a little bit ahead of time, and you can even, I do them live because you guys know me and you put me in front of a camera and I'm off. But if you're more comfortable, you could do it as just an image post on Facebook, because they are short. Just reword it so it's coming from you and not my little cut up notes. Do it as a pre-recorded video and pre-schedule it. I recommend dropping it on Instagram as well. Instagram is really, it's a hot place to drop tips. People love tips on Instagram. You'll get some engagement. But I recommend starting December 1st, be able to just speak a minute or two on each, and then just move it along. The important part here with these is not so much our expertise. It's the fact that we're giving people something that's actionable. If you can tie it back to what you do in your school, that's cool, but it's not required. This is just straight up giving. I'm giving you an idea about how to interact with your child. And I want it to be actionable. That's it.
And at the same time, if you guys have kids or children, listen to me. If you have kids of your own and any of those, I guess, content that Mike is putting out, requires that connection with a child, or, whatever it's about, maybe try to find a cooler way to do it where you're connecting with a child. What? You're laughing.
Yeah, Sensei John. Thankfully, no, we cannot see you. You are no longer allowed in Zoom calls with your video on.
Yes. Another thing would be use hashtags. Hashtags are very powerful. And I promise you, you've got parents out there who follow a hashtag. Okay. And there is nothing like pets. Okay. Having pets in your videos is absolutely amazing. It grabs people's attention for some reason. So,
You mean dogs, not
say what?
cats. You mean dogs, not cats.
I am not going to go there. This is kind of like asking, are you a Democrat or Republican?
Yeah.
I'm not going there. I'm going to leave that one alone, yo, bro. So, but yeah, find ways to make it a little bit community friendly, especially around you. Okay. And if you're not a video kind of person, again, think outside of the box and maybe have one of your team members do it.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be you. And in fact, this is a perfect opportunity for you to hand off to your storm team, or jump in there to look. What are teenagers known for? Teenagers are known for being lazy, being attitudinous, being grumpy. Imagine if you go into your extreme or elite skills class and say, cultivate one of them to do a video. And you could do this ahead of time. It doesn't have to be live. Have one of your teens doing the video, especially if it's talking about what to do with teens, because some of these are for little kids and some of these are for older kids. Imagine a 13-year-old comes on and says, hey guys, I'm a teenager and here's a tip for parents about how to teach your teenagers gratitude. Dude, how powerful is that?
So the app that I will send you guys, it is super cool because you can do stuff like this. I can literally pull a picture up and I can hit record, and I can record my voice talking about, being thankful and being grateful, and that picture is in the background. So if you don't want to be in front of the camera, but you're able to speak it and you're good with it, do it that way. So there is like 1,000 ways to take what Michael is giving us right here and kind of like make it your own.
Can I just say one thing about hashtags, guys? I see some of you using hashtags, especially those of you that are using like bigger companies to run your marketing. Running a hashtag, so hashtags are basically just mini saved search buttons. That's all they really are. And it's kind of morphed into a way to add emotion to your posts. So you might make a little snarky post and add like hashtag sarcasm, so people read it in the right way. So when you use your hashtags, you have to be creative about how you use hashtags. Most people are probably not following a hashtag of Skillz of Patchogue. However, I use that hashtag because if I ever find somebody that says, well, I really want to see more, I say, well, go to any one of our posts and click the hashtag Skillz of Patchogue, and all of our posts will come up. Something that's going to be less effective for you is probably like hashtag martial arts or hashtag kids, because these are international hashtags about everything. And if you're putting it, especially on ads or boosted posts, you're now advertising for everybody else in your area that also has that hashtag. However, if you're doing things like hashtag gratitude, hashtag teens being awesome, and then geofencing it, you're going to find people who are already of the same mindset of you. And it's not necessarily that they were looking for Atlanta Skillz, although if they find that, they should be able to click Atlanta Skillz hashtag, which John does a really good job with. But if you're on there and let's say you're living in a negatively mindseted household. All right, that's a second one that I made up today. Negatively mindseted household. One of the things that a mom might follow is something like peaceful parenting or something like that, because that's how she gets ideas to try to change that negativity in her household. So having a hashtag like that on your post is going to be far more powerful than something like Patchogue martial arts, which I guarantee nobody is searching hashtag Patchogue martial arts. And if they do, they're going to see all of my competitors, who most of which are out of business. So it doesn't help anybody.
Yes.
There are also some great tools to discover which hashtags are hitting. Actually, I think Instagram has one native. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I think you can search in there and it'll show you similar or useful hashtags to what you're posting.
Yeah, you can actually search, Instagram specific hashtags.
Cool.
But those are universal too, so it's not like you specifically.
Yeah. Just be creative and test. Like I have, because I'm using some Apple devices. I mean, you could do it on Android too, but Apple makes it a little easier to do. Like if I do hashtag 4GK, it inserts like 20 different hashtags automatically that are my default hashtags. But I also play with the other couple, because I think, what are you allowed to have, up to 30 or something like that?
Yeah, they upped it, by the way.
Yeah, so
because it used to be 20.
Yeah. So I have like my 15 or 20 standard ones that include my towns and surrounding towns and all that good stuff. But then the balance of them, I experiment with to see what gets good traction and how people are finding me, because that tells me, well, I should be doing more or less of something. So I'm very grateful for the tools that allow me to do that. Just to tie that in. Just check the comments, make sure we got nothing here. No? All right, yeah, cool. We're caught up
I think
there.
we're good on comments. Yep.
Yeah. So, as we think about gratitude, we've set the stage with things that we are grateful for. And I encourage you guys to do the same. We all go through this time of year. One little side note, set yourself a calendar reminder for 6 months from now to remember to be grateful for something. Because during Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and we just had Diwali, during all these different holidays, it's really easy because it's in front of us, around us at every little moment. It's not so easy in, so what's that going to be, November, May, to remember to be grateful. So set yourself a calendar reminder right now to remember to be grateful. So I encourage you to continue with your mindfulness right now. John, I know you've mentioned in the past keeping a gratitude journal every day, things
Yes.
that you are grateful for. I love that for adults. So while you're creating this mindset, I want you to also be mindful of times you catch yourself not being grateful. And this can take a couple different forms. It can be, entitlement. Well, I deserve this. And we all do it, even the best of us. Um, Times where we don't be mindful about giving thanks. Somebody, you drop your pencil, somebody hands it to you, and you just pick it up and keep writing instead of remembering to say thank you. So that's a little example. Or the worst is apathy. You just don't care anymore. And this is, I think, happening to a lot of school owners where it's just like, all right, what's the next hit? I don't even care anymore. I'm just gonna, you're in a trauma-induced state almost where you stop feeling. This is where it's most important to recognize what is the trauma that got you there, or if you're still actively feeling the anger or the resentment or the entitlement, stop yourself and look for the thing that you should be grateful about in that moment. It has to be an active practice. Just like you can't just throw Facebook ads out there and hope it's going to hit. Your marketing has to be a mindful and active practice to cultivate people to want to see your ads. Same thing. This way, when you go to coach your members, your students, those people around you, you enter it as somebody, first of all, with the experience that's walked that path, that's turned themselves around a little bit. And I don't mean you're a bad person. This is like little micro incidents that we all have throughout the day. You want to be the person that when you walk in the room, everybody feels good. And then that encourages them to be like you. So we have to set the stage ourselves. And then look for ways, whether you use my 25 things, you use John's app, or some of the other things we've talked about, a gratitude journal. What are the ways that you're going to teach those around you to be grateful?
One thing to add to that, if you catch yourself in a position or at a moment where you're in that negative state of mind, just stop for a second, take a deep breath, drop what you're doing, get up, walk for a second, and right then and there, start thinking of things that you are grateful for or things that brought joy into your life. Okay. I think that's going to be a huge key. A lot of people who fall in that state of not being thankful or whatever, they've numbed themselves. You know what I mean? They're beyond, I don't want to say they're beyond help, but they put themselves in a situation where they build that wall. And they've built that wall maybe because they don't want to get hurt. They're so hurt that they don't want to get hurt anymore, right? So, um, you know, it is really not all that bad. Like 2020 sucked, and don't get me wrong, it got a lot of us, right? But at the end, as long as you're saying out loud what you're grateful for, gratefulness brings on more joy. Gratefulness brings on more positive vibes versus negative will keep you in the negative. So more negative will be dumped on you, and then now you've buried yourself 6 feet down and under. So,
That makes me think too. There are times when we expect people to be grateful for us. Maybe you did a nice service for somebody, or you threw somebody a private lesson at your school, and they don't appreciate you the way that you think you should be appreciated. Think about how that makes you feel. Probably maybe a little angry or like upset or maybe sad that they didn't appreciate you as much as you thought. This is one of those times when we can also turn it around and be grateful for the fact that they weren't grateful to us, which sounds weird. But if I put on my, Chinese master on the mountaintop kind of hat, that opportunity is a chance for me to look at it, not that oh, I gave them something. They didn't even say thank you. They don't appreciate it. But as a chance to say, wow, they weren't in the mindset where they were ready to look beyond the gift to the source. They were probably in serious need. How amazing is it that the universe, or whatever you believe in, gave me this opportunity to serve somebody who had a need? I'm grateful for that lesson. It reminds me of that, being angry is like holding onto a hot coal, or the, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. You have to let it go and recognize that other people's state is not our internal responsibility. It may be our higher purpose to help them, especially as coaches and teachers. But it's also every time that we get that feeling of, well, they didn't even, who's Prabha, and well, they obviously needed this, and I'm thankful that I was able to provide it.
The thing is, look at it as a karma thing, right? If you're doing something good towards somebody else, don't expect anything in return, okay, from that person. Okay, you're doing it because you want to do it. If you're doing it expecting the thank you in return, or if you're doing it, wanting this in return, just don't even bother, right? I like to look at it as a karma thing. This person may not say thank you. This person may not be grateful for something that I did. Somebody else will come back and do something to you because they appreciate what you've done in their life. Or maybe that same person may not say thank you right now, but 2-3 years later, they'll find a way to say thank you. So just do it.
This is no different than, like, we tell our kids, all my kids in our school, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. But it's not like, hey, you call me sir because you need to respect me. To us, and we do teach this lesson to the kids, you don't call me sir because I need to be called sir. You call me sir out of respect. And it's not even respect for me. You don't call me sir because you respect me. You call me sir because you respect you. You are a respectful person, and a respectful person acknowledges other people respectfully, whether they deserve it or not. And this is no different. You don't do things for people because you expect gratitude. You do them because it's the kind of person that you are. And it drives me a little batty when I see some of my friends on Facebook post, like, some of you say you're my friends and you don't even comment on my stuff. If phone works both ways and you should reach out more often. Like, I'm not your friend because I expect you to comment on my post. I'm your friend because when we are around each other, we have some sort of synchronicity.
Yes.
I'm not your friend to get something out of it. I'm your friend because I enjoy your friendship and your company when I have it, when it's my turn to be present in your life. And I think that saves me a lot of Facebook headache. I believe the technical term is butthurt.
I think we would be like doing nothing else except commenting on people's posts.
Oh yeah.
Like, oof. Anyway, it's a Thanksgiving Eve. There is a lot that we're absolutely thankful for. And first, it starts with you guys because you're always out there, like, coming in, watching us live or watching the replays. And at the same time, you kind of help you, be better at what you do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be really here right now. So thank you for that.
Yes, I concur. Now, on that same note, in my last minute or so here, I would encourage you to set aside your fears of rejection, your fears of unrequited love. Tell everybody over the next few weeks that you are grateful for them, and be specific about why. People need to hear it right now. Think back to, my students, my families that told me, I'm sure that John's landlord would love hearing how much he meant not only to John, but to the hundreds of students that John serves, and their families. We all need to hear it, especially in today's world. Let people know, especially people that aren't expecting it. Let people know. Give them that emotional hug. You know, it's not really cool to hug people right now, but give them that emotional hug with your words.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a blessed one. Enjoy the rest of your week with your families. And I'm throwing this one out there for anybody who's interested. We're doing a turkey burn this coming Saturday, and we're going to go all virtual. So we've got some members who are coming in. If you guys want to get up Saturday morning and you want to train with us and, you know, burn an hour and a half worth of turkey, come join me. Go to the events page on my wall or Atlanta Skillz wall. I shared it in the license group yesterday. I'll be sharing it throughout the week. So, hey, come burn some turkey with us.
Hold on. I think it's the Skillz Fit annual free turkey burn workout,
yes,
right?
Yes.
All right. Let me copy that. And before we go, I'm just going to paste that right there.
If you want to take it a step further, open your studio, invite your members in, pull your bags out, set it up like a circuit. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. This is for everybody. So you can take that further. I know Meg and Alex they've got their projector up and they're going to broadcast it for their members inside their studio. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure, but that could be a way for you guys to do it too. So
awesome. Promoting world peace through Skillz Fit.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Send your love off to your families and partners and students for us, and we wish you the best. We will see you guys next week, probably a little fatter, a little happier.
Maybe.
Happier.